your agreement that you've made with them about...
Well, what agreement? The president of El Salvador agreed to take in 250 gangbangers, and we sent them.
There's funding details we have not gotten. We need to see what the costs are.
Well, we haven't funded that. We've provided them law enforcement assistance. I know you just claimed that we cut all this law enforcement assistance. We provided El Salvador and other countries law enforcement assistance. They have the right to spend that money any way they wish. But they did us a big favor. They took 250 dangerous, trained out. We didn't deport any U.S. residents. No U.S. residents were deported.
I'm not going to argue with you on that point.
Well, there's not an argument, but don't say we deported U.S. residents, because we didn't. I don't deport anybody.
I'm not asking.
But we didn't deport U.S. residents.
I'm asking you whether we can see the details of the arrangements, including the funding details.
Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a fiery Senate hearing where Senator Patty Murray took on Secretary Marco Rubio with some explosive accusations. From billions in frozen aid to rotting food supplies and alleged illegal moves, this exchange was nothing short of dramatic. Senator Patty Murray opened with a bold charge, accusing Secretary Rubio of illegally dismantling USAID, freezing billions in foreign aid, and violating bipartisan appropriation laws. If you believe government officials should be held accountable, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss our deep dives into the stories that matter most.
Secretary Rubio, I am deeply concerned that you have overseen a systemic campaign to dismantle USAID, impound billions of dollars that this committee actually provided, and unilaterally remake the Department of State without the slightest bit of concern that you lack the authority to do that without Congress. It has created chaos, it's caused preventable deaths across the globe, and it has undermined American leadership. As Ranking Member Schatz noted, what you've done is outright illegal, a complete violation of bipartisan appropriation laws, the Impoundment Control Act, and the Anti-Deficiency Act. Within hours of taking office, President Trump halted all foreign aid in flagrant defiance of the law. Now, under your watch, Secretary Rubio, that freeze was implemented with chaos and cruelty. And then you illegally shuttered USAID, placing everyone on leave, halting life-saving work, literally locking people out of the building and out of their devices, even in dangerous corners of our world. You paid people not to work, abandoned our partners across the globe, and chaotically recalled global staff, putting more than 1,600 Americans who served our country abroad in limbo. And when you shut down the USAID payment system, you even refused to pay for services provided before the illegal freeze. You fought all the way to the Supreme Court, against paying for services U.S. businesses already rendered with funding that Congress already provided. And I know you know, Mr. Secretary, but you lost. And I assume you need the reminder because to this day, you have not made all the payments that are required by our nation's highest court, and as a result, American companies continue to lay off American workers. Another pattern that I'm deeply worried about is transparency. We have pressed you for information. Our staffs have sent you countless emails and briefing requests so we can do our job here. There are hundreds of unanswered requests and no effort to address them. And Mr. Secretary, that's got to change. Even your plan to reorganize the State Department came with no information on the 270 offices you are moving to eliminate, the proposed layoffs, or how USAID would be merged into state. I won't ask you whether impounding billions of dollars is legal. It is not. I won't ask you whether it's efficient to pay people not to work or fire them without determining staffing needs. But, and I won't ask you if cutting 91% of our counter-narcotic and law enforcement programs make us safer, abruptly abandoning agreements with allies makes us stronger, or ceding our global leadership to China makes us more prosperous. Of course not. We know that. As I said, we have asked and have not gotten. Can you tell me, will you share the text and details with my staff of your agreement with El Salvador and any other similar arrangements, including the funding details that we need to have?
Well, first of all, I'd like to respond to your 7-minute speech, which is Primarily, I disagree like 99% of it. It's just not true. We've done nothing that's illegal. We've been in over 600
courts
briefings to
have
Congress.
disagreed
We've
with
asked questions. We've answered questions repeatedly. We get hundreds of questions a day. We respond them as quickly as possible. And your characterization of the moves that we
Mr.
made
Secretary, I
were
would
false.
just tell you, we are here because we need the information so that we can write our budget and on a bipartisan.
Well, you'll have the
move
information
forward.
you need to write a budget.
Okay, so will we get the details on the El Salvador arrangement? Yes or no?
Well, which Salvador arrangement? are you just-
Your agreement that you've made with them about.
What agreement? The president of El Salvador agreed to take in 250 gangbangers, and we sent
funding
them.
details we have not gotten. We need to see what the costs are.
Well, we haven't funded that. We've provided them law enforcement assistance. I know you just claimed that we cut all this law enforcement assistance. We've provided El Salvador and other countries law enforcement assistance. They have the right to spend that money any way they wish. But they did us a big favor. They took 250 dangerous, trained out. We didn't deport any U.S. residents. No U.S. residents were
I'm not going to
reported.
argue with you on that.
Well,
point.
there's not an argument, but don't say we deported U.S. residents, because we didn't. I don't deport anybody.
I'm not asking.
But we didn't deport U.S.
I'm asking
residents.
you whether we can see the details of the arrangements, including the funding details.
I'm giving you
That's
the
an appropriate-
details. The
funding?
arrangements are we provide law enforcement funding to El Salvador, among other countries. How they choose to spend that money internally is up to
I take that as
them.
a no. How
But I
about-
can tell you,
Can you give me the details on the 200-plus offices you're proposing to
Sure, we've
eliminate?
provided
We need that. Can I get your commitment to
Sure, of
give us
course.
those?
It's part of our reorg.
She argued that this freeze didn't just shuffle papers, it caused chaos, preventable deaths abroad, and left American businesses unpaid while workers here at home lost their jobs. This wasn't just a budget debate. Murray framed it as a constitutional crisis. She urged Congress to assert its power of the purse, warning that Trump's dismantling of foreign aid and United States leadership risked undermining decades of global influence. She ended with a sobering message: lack of accountability and transparency doesn't just hurt America's reputation, it threatens democracy itself. So, what do you think? Was Senator Murray right to call out Secretary Rubio for breaking the law and dismantling United States leadership? Or was this just political theater? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more hard-hitting analysis, and hit the bell so you never miss a breakdown of stories shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.